Madam Jyotisri Madam. Jyotisri Madam. Okay, Madam Deepika Reddy Madam garu.
Sir.
Sir, can you hear me?
Madam, you are audible, madam.
Yeah, I'm audible. Okay, ma'am. So
Yes.
I'll just like to introduce ma'am. Deepika Reddy Megam is born and brought up in Hyderabad. She did her schooling from St. Anne's High School, Secunderabad. She graduated in Bachelor of Applications, after which she completed her Master's in MBA with specialization in marketing. She started an event management company, Android Consultants, in 2004. The company specialized in corporate event. She helmed numerous products launches, mystery service, and business development events for companies like Johnson & Johnson, ITC, and Vodafone. She had to consciously give up her successful career as an event manager after her son was diagnosed with autism. She then attempted UPSC only once in 2009 and went on to write her mains. She exhausted her attempt with age. She joined Hyderabad Study Circle to prepare current affairs material for the institution. She started teaching current affairs and policy for civil services and the state group 1 and group 2 services in Hyderabad Study Circle in 2010, and also took over as the administrator there. During this period, she completed her LLB with distinction. After a very successful innings at Hyderabad Study Circle, she ventured out to establish Shikara Academy in 2016 with a vision to mold every student for succession, and not just for the exam he or she faces, but for every test in life. The Academy mentors its students to aim high in life and to leave a mark in this world. She has been taking current affairs lectures on the Telangana State Government Education Channel, TSAT, since 2016 and has been awarded the prestigious Telangana State Award for Empowerment of Rural Youth in Current Affairs through TSAT by Sri Kunala Taraka Ramarao, the Ministry of IT in 2018. She is also teaching on India's #1 online education platform, Unacademy, is one of the top rated teachers on the platform. She is today one of the very few female leading educator and mentor in the field of competitive examination preparatory, which is predominantly dominated by male educators. The last 12 years, she has successfully guided many students in cracking various central and state service examination. Some of our students are currently working in services like IT assistant commissioner, like IFS, IAS, training officers in various places. With this short profile, I invite Deepika ma'am to take over the session. We would like to hear from you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Jyotisri Garu. Before I begin, I thank Krishna sir for giving me this opportunity. I mean, thank you so much, sir. It will be amazing interacting with students, and I thank the esteemed members and staff of Swarna Bharati Institute to putting this program together in such a short span is an amazing thing in itself, and it's a pleasure to talk to all the students today on the occasion of the International Women's Day, the eve of International Women's Day. Now, I have been asked to talk about women empowerment and competitive exams because I teach for competitive exams, and I have had the privilege, it's been a blessing that I could guide students to write this exam. The best part of my journey has been that many of the students who cracked under my guidance are women. I have more women students getting into service when compared to boys under my guidance. Now, I would like to begin with explaining students about women empowerment. Basically, మీరు women empowerment చాలా సార్లు వినుంటారు, కానీ అసలు దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటి, women empowerment అంటే ఏంటి, మనం చాలా I mean in a very simple knowledge, simple terms, let's understand what is women empowerment. Basically, women empowerment comes across as a very heavy term, and it sounds like something very big, but to put it simple, women empowerment is nothing but start, the ability of a woman to take decisions for herself. I should be capable of deciding on various aspects in my life. That is called as women empowerment. Now the question is, how do I get, for example, you students are pursuing your BTech. Tomorrow, what are you going to do after BTech? What do you want to do? What do you want to study? What career do you want to choose? These decisions are also part of being empowered. Now, when do you get empowered? What is the method of getting empowered? The best method of getting empowered is when you have knowledge, because for you to take any decision, it is very important that you should be aware of certain things. For example, you want to pursue further studies. Now you have various options. You want to go abroad, you want to stay here and write GMAT and go into an IIM. What do you want to do? For that, you need to know what options do you have. If I study this, what is going to be my career path? Do I want to work? What kind of work will suit me? You need to be aware. You need to be aware of the opportunities. You need to be aware of yourself. So this we basically term as women empowerment or empowerment in this sense. uh, Jyotishi Garu, before I continue, can you please enable my screen sharing option, because I would like to use the pen tab. Yeah, I'm able to share. Okay. Now, these are very few faces that we know about, known women who have achieved commendably. I don't have to introduce Mother Teresa and Indira Gandhi, but I would like to talk about Kiran Bedi ma'am. Kiran Bedi ma'am was the first IPS officer from India. She was the first woman to crack IPS officer, and she's known for her illustrious career. She's contributed significantly to prison reforms in prisoners. She was the one who introduced yoga sessions, counseling sessions for prisoners, and so on. Okay, so as I said, women empowerment, basically, when we use the word empowerment, it means the ability to take decisions of our own life. Why is this important for a woman? And why is it that we always talk about women empowerment? Whenever you see government speaking about anything, there are only two types of empowerment that government talks about. One is women, the other is social empowerment. In social empowerment, we basically talk about the backward sections of society. But in women empowerment, the focus is on women. Why is it that we have to focus on women empowerment? See, because a woman is the backbone of a family. She, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, has a prominent role in keeping the family together, in the development and in the prosperity of the family. Imagine tomorrow you become a wife, a mother, you have to take care of your children, and you need to be aware to take care of your children, to ensure that they grow properly, to ensure that they get the right kind of education, the right kind of value system, for which you should be very aware. That is the reason why women empowerment is very important. And over a period of time, as chairman sir has said, there are many women who have been coming into politics. There are many women who are coming into public life, but still, I feel that there is a lot of scope for women to get into public life, especially public services, because this is something where you can really prove yourself. Now, before I move further, let me just tell you uh, how life of a public servant is going to be. I'm sure you students must have heard of IAS, IPS, then IT commissioner. Then you must have also heard of posts like RDO, MRO, CTO. All these are various services and various designations within the government. Now, how do you appear for this? How do you appear for this? How do you go ahead with all this? How do you prepare? Where do you start? Why it is important? All that I'm going to tell you. Now, before I continue further, all that I can request is, uh, if you have any doubts, anything that you would like to ask me on any of these topics that I'm talking, I request you all to please post the questions in the question box or the chat box. There is a chat box, I'm sure you all know. Please post your questions in the chat box. I'll be more than glad to interact with you all. I'll be taking your questions also. Okay, now moving forward, whenever we talk about, I request everybody to please be on mute because there is some disturbance. See, whenever we talk about garment services, There are two levels of services. One is the central service and the All India services. Okay. Now, these services are basically those exams which are conducted by Government of India or its agencies. Its agencies as in independent bodies like Union Public Service Commission, like Staff Selection Commission. I don't know if you have heard of UPSC and Staff Selection Commission anytime. So these bodies conduct these exams. And then we have the state services. I'm not going into the third level, which is the local self-government related service, but state services where you have Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4. I'm sure you must have heard these general services. And these exams are conducted by the state government of the state, or on its behalf, the State Public Service Commission. In our case, it is conducted by Telangana State Public Service Commission. Now, when can you take these exams? Qualification is the next thing that we have to understand. When we talk about qualification, there are two levels that we have. There are some exams which you can write after completing your 12th, that is intermediate. Even after completing intermediate, you will be able to write some exams. There will be some exams from which you need graduation. Usually the higher level posts require you to be a graduate for attempting this exam. So the qualification will be this, and along with this there will be some age related criteria. However, you students are very young, so 21, 22, you can attempt any exam. When it comes to defense related exams, the age limit will be 25. For some exams, it is 28. For some exams, it is 32. For the State Public Service Commission exams, the age limit goes up till 40, 44 also. So this is a basic information about the qualifications. Now coming to, I have classified exams in terms of who conducts. This classification is based on who conducts. Now we are going to discuss about the type of services, classification of public services. See, whenever we talk about public services, there are two types of public services. One is called as generalist service, general services. The other is called as specialist service. What are you getting into, generalist service or specialist service? General services are those services where you can belong to any background. You can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a degree, a normal social sciences degree holder, or you can be a computer applications graduate, or you can be a PG, you can be of any educational background, but you can write this exam. The only criteria here is in general services is your background does not matter for you to take the exam, because when you get into the service, you can be given any post. The best example for general services is IAS, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, Indian Revenue Service. All these are considered as general services where you need to be a graduate. You don't have, we are not concerned with what type of graduation did you do. In specialist service, this is a service which is based on your subject where you need special knowledge. That is the reason why it is called a specialist. Special knowledge in a particular area of subject. Okay, example of specialist service, because you are engineering graduates, Indian Engineering Services is a specialist service. A degree student cannot write Indian Engineering Service exam. If I have to write Indian Engineering Service, I either need to be a civil servant, civil engineering graduate, or I need to be a mechanical engineering graduate, or telecommunications, or computer. So, there are specifications. Only this stream candidate can take this exam. That is called a specialist. In the state also, we have such exams like assistant engineer, we call it as, in the waterworks department, in the power department. These are all specialist services. Here, not everybody can attempt. You need a degree in that particular subject in order to attempt this exam. So this is general services, this is specialist services. There are huge opportunities out, in the central services and the state services, which can be availed by all of you. And I don't know how many of you are aware, but women have 33% reservation in the state public services, especially in Telangana. Most of the states are giving 33% reservation for women in their state services. In the UPSC category, we do not have reservation for women, but in the state services, we have reservation for women. Now, the next thing that I would like to talk about is, this is a basic idea of what is there. Okay. So, to put it simple, all of you are qualified to take exams on general services, because there you just need to be a graduate. If you want to opt for a specialist service, you need to have specific degree, civil engineering, mechanical engineering as is specified, to write these exams. Most of the exams by the central government are conducted once in a year. The central government exams are very organized. They have a calendar. They release a calendar and they conduct this exam once in a year. Okay. Now, before I move further, Krishna sir was talking about social empowerment, economic empowerment, and all that. So let me tell you why a woman should work. Okay. What economic empowerment is, when you are capable of taking care of your own needs. We call it as economic empowerment. Okay. Economic empowerment leads to social empowerment. See, this is a very simple thought which you can observe in your day to day life. Okay. All students, please listen to this carefully. You have a housewife. I am not undermining the role of a housewife. In fact, I would say nobody works more than a housewife, because it's a thankless job. వాళ్ళు ఎంత చేసినా we feel that they are not doing anything, because what they do is not visible to everybody. People think it is very easy being a housewife, but trust me, it is very difficult being a housewife, because there is a lot of work that they do which goes unnoticed. We don't even think that they do so much of work. And then we have a working woman. A working woman, irrespective of what work she does, at what level, whether government office or private sector, is earning money. Because she is earning money, she is empowered economically to an extent, because she can at least take care of her own needs. Also, by earning, she's contributing to the family income. She's taking care of the family needs. Because she is taking care of the family needs, she will be she will be consulted in decision making. Okay, so it is very, very important. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry for this. We have too many people waiting, so I'm just admitting everybody. Right. I'm just admitting everybody. All right. Now, as I was telling you, request all of you all to please put yourself on silent. Please put yourself on mute. Please put yourself on mute. Okay. A working woman earns, she contributes she takes care of the family needs to an extent, because of which she is consulted in decision making. And when you are part of decision making, you are considered to be socially empowered. So decision making, participation in decision making makes you socially empowered. So social empowerment comes with participation in decision making. Okay, that is the reason economic empowerment is always linked. Please remember, economic empowerment is always linked with social empowerment. Without economic empowerment, it is very difficult to socially empower a woman. Okay, now this is about why working is very important. To put it students, remember, when you work, you'll have self-confidence, you'll have self-dignity. When you have self-confidence, you'll have self-dignity, you'll be able to face any situation in life. You will be respected because you're a person who works, you're a person who is doing something meaningful in life. So remember that it is very important to have a career for yourself. Especially women should have a career for themselves. All right. Now, moving on, the next thing that I would like to tell you is about what all will be there for you to study for these exams. Many of you, I'm sure, are not aware that what to study for the exams. And usually, when I interact with college students, they have this idea that these exams are very tough. It is very difficult to crack these exams and all. So let me first take you through a few of my students' profile who have already cracked this exam, just for an idea to tell you about how they cracked their background and all. Then we will continue. Okay. uh, because we are discussing it on the eve of International Women's Day, I have only picked up my students, girls who have cracked. She is Ankita Jain. If you can see her picture, she has been selected for IPS this year, the last result that we got. And she got 398. She's allotted IPS, and most likely she's going to be in Telangana. She has had a very long struggle in her life. She had a disturbed phase in her life. She had to go through a lot in her marriage. She had to went through a very painful divorce, after which she actually studied for the exam. She cracked the exam in her sixth attempt, and now she is in training in the National Police Academy. Then this girl is Alankrita. I talk a lot about this girl with a lot of fonding and love, because you know what? She cracked her exam exactly in 1 year after clearing her BTech. BTech BTech is, she just finished her BTech. That year itself, she attempted civil services and she cracked. Right now, she's placed as the Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax in Bombay. I still remember when she came for the interview and all. I have been a part of many mock interviews that we conduct for the Public Service Commission, for UPSC and all. But trust me, she is one person who will always remain in my memory, because she was so full of life. There was nothing that that girl did not know. She knew everything. Any question she was able to answer. And you know why she was like that? Not because she was a bookworm. Basically, because she had a lot of awareness. She used to read newspapers. She used to participate in every program, any elocution competition, any essay writing, debate competition, anything she used to participate. I was actually very happy when I was told that Swarna Bharati institution conducts a lot of group discussions and all. And I actually think that it's wonderful that your college is taking such initiative. Please be a part of these group discussions, debates, competitions and all, because they give you a lot of insight. They help you develop as an individual. They help you express yourself better. So this girl was one of those people who was very, very active, and she cracked it in 1 year, in her first attempt. Cracking UPSC in first attempt is very rare. This girl did it. Then Nihara is right now working as a program director. I'm sure you know that there is 102.6 FM, the rainbow channel on FM by the All India Radio. She's placed in All India Radio. She is one of the most creative persons working for the All India Radio. She cracked the All India Radio exam and she's into service. She's doing a commendable job with respect to helping students prepare for their exams or general programs and all. Now, the other is deputy state. She is deputy CTO. We call it as commercial tax officer. One minute. I'm sorry for the interruption. Just give me a minute. Okay, Nimesh. Okay, 1 minute, please wait. Just it is not allowing co-host. I'm making them the host. Ask them to make the co-host. Okay, she is, you won't believe, she is a mother of 3 girls and she cracked the exam after giving birth to her 3 girls. She worked very hard. She was an average student. She really worked very hard. I've been a part of her entire journey, cracking the state group 2 services. So she is one of my students who did it. Then now you have specialist services, as I said. Preeti is working as a food safety officer. Preeti basically has a career, has a degree in food safety. She's working as a food inspector right now under in GHMC. She was one of the toppers in her exam. She recently cracked it, and with a lot of pride, I would say that all these students are making a big mark in their respective careers. In fact, you will come across information about, talk to anybody in All India Radio, they'll tell you about Nihara. Alankrita is doing a very good job where she is working in Bombay and so on. So I'm showing these students. I'm just telling you about their profile to give to serve as a sort of inspiration for all of you all, to tell you that these are students who come from very normal backgrounds. None of them are toppers, none of them are gold medalists, but they could crack the exam because they had that inclination to crack the exam. What is required is more than anything commitment to crack the exam. Okay, now moving on, what do you study for this and how do you go about with it? Let's understand that part. Okay, see, as I said, in general studies, we have certain areas which are very, very common. There is a Jyotishri madam, Nanu, you have to make me the co-host.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to make me the co-host. That is the reason we have an echo. Is there an echo for you? Madam, ఏమైనా echo వస్తుందా మీకు?
మీరు నన్ను కోర్స్ చేయాలి మేడం.
జిఎస్టీ స్టేట్ చేస్తుంటే ఎంత అయిందండి తీసుకున్న రోజు ఎంత ఉంది ధర వాడంతే 23 దాకా పోయి 49 50 వచ్చింది 23% పేపర్ యాడ్లేమో 4% నుంచి తరగంటుంది. నేను షాపు పోయినా 4% ఇది అయిపోయే వస్తువులు అంటే
access to host, ma'am. You can unmute the person who can talk.
Everybody.
చాలా ధరలు తీసుకుంటున్నారు. అసలు మినిమం 8-9 మన ఊళ్ళో వెనకటైతే 10 గ్రాముల గ్రాము తరగని మన
Okay, now I think it is audible. Sorry for the disturbance. Now moving on, what do you study for this exam? See, the difference between your college exam and a competitive exam, let me first tell that. for your college exam, what happens is, fortunately or unfortunately, this is how we studied. This is how I studied when I was studying for my BCA or MBA, that we have a set of questions. Our teachers give us a set of questions. They give us some answers. We prepare those questions. We prepare those answers. We go, we write the exam, we come and we pass. Most of us do this 1 day batting, 2 days batting, 1 week, 1 month batting. Okay. And we also measure our performance in the exam in terms of the number of papers we write. I'm sure you all will be able to relate to what I'm telling you. ఎగ్జామ్ వస్తుంది అంటే కొన్ని ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయి, అవి చదువుకొని ఏదో ఒకటి రాసిస్తే పాస్ అయిపోతాం. దట్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ ద జనరల్ టెండెన్సీ ఇన్ ప్రిపరేషన్, అండ్ ట్రస్ట్ మీ, దట్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ ద సేమ్ విత్ మీ ఆల్సో వెన్ ఐ వాస్ స్టడింగ్. అయితే కాంపిటేటివ్ exams are not like that. Competitive exams, what happens is the focus is on your understanding. What do you understand from a particular incident? Okay, how do you express yourself? These are the two things that they look at. Competitive exam is more about testing your awareness and your knowledge on general issues. So when I talk about general studies will be there in any competitive exam that you're writing. In general studies, we will have four core subjects. One is called polity. If you remember, in school you used to study what is called as civics. Then we have history. Then we have economy, and we have geography. And I'm sure, don't tell me, ma'am, we are technical graduates, what will we understand of geography, history, polity and all that? Trust me, you don't have to worry about geography, history, polity as a technical student, because basically these are subjects which you have studied in your school. You remember, in your school you used to have social science, social studies, in which you used to have four divisions: civics, history, economy, and geography. The same thing, but we are going to study in detail. We have studied a little there, we are going to study in detail. And trust me, these are easier than your technical subjects because they are general in nature and they help you improve your awareness. Now, apart from these four subjects, you'll have other subjects like international affairs. What is happening with Russia and Ukraine is a very important part of international affairs. Then you have it's Indian society. We read about society, how our society is organized, what are the different problems in our society, what problems women face, what problems children face. Child labor is a problem that is pertaining to children. So, like this, we will have different uh, issues related to our society. Then we will have science and technology, which should be easy for you technical students, where we read about the developments in space, in defense, in biotechnology, and so on. Then we also will have ethics. Ethics is basically about how to lead a good life, how to take good decisions. Ethics is all about good and bad. What is good, what is bad. Okay, the judgment of what is good, what is bad, what decisions we take, what kind of path do we follow in our life is determined by our ethical base. So ethics is about this. So like this, these are the other broad areas that you will have in your syllabus, apart from polity, history, economy, geography. Another area which we focus a lot right now is environment, but environment is an extension of geography. There has been a lot of development in the in the study of environment owing to the prevailing conditions worldwide, because global warming is increasing, because carbon footprint is increasing, because of the effect that it is happening on our environment, on our lives. We are studying environment as separately as a subject. So these subjects will be there along with general studies. Plus, any competitive exam will have two more subjects. One is, I'm sure you must have heard of mental ability, logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude, which you also have for GRE. Okay. And the second is English. Now, all general service exams will have these subjects. The only difference is, in some services exams, one of these subjects will have more weightage in terms of marks, in terms of the questions asked, than the other subjects. Am I getting it? So, one of these subjects will have more weightage. All right. Now, are you able to see what I'm writing on the screen? Anybody? Are you able to see what I'm writing on the
No,
screen?
no, ma'am, it's not, we can't,
1 minute. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know about it. I'll just check what is happening. I have shared the screen. 1 minute. Oh, I didn't know that you were not able to see the screen. I've been showing these students and all. 1 minute. I'm not. Now is it visible?
Yes.
I think now it is visible. So since
Yes.
beginning you were not able to see. I'm so sorry about it. I didn't realize. Since beginning you were not able to see. Now you're able to see me changing the slide.
Yes.
Could you see all this earlier when I was explaining? If no, then I will just help you with what I have told you till now. Okay, let me begin with this slide. Did you get a chance to see this slide when I was talking about this? Please respond. Okay, now let me just take you through this if you could not see that. See, basically government services, we classify them into two types. One is called central services or all India services, which is conducted by the central government, this part. And this is the state services. In this, you have bodies like UPSC, State Staff Selection Commission, conducting the exams. And state services, you have group 1, group 2, group 3. You must have heard in your family circles, they say he's a group 1 officer, he's a group 2 officer, or she's a group 2 officer. That is the state services. Then central services, what kind of jobs do you have? IAS, Indian Administrative Service, collector. Okay, IPS, Indian Police Service. Then you have Indian Revenue Service. All these come under the exams conducted by UPSC. UPSC also conducts Indian Engineering Services. Now you are engineering students, so you must have heard of Indian Engineering Services. That is also conducted by UPSC. Then you have SSC CGL, which is conducted by Staff Selection Commission. Now, what happens is the topmost level in administration in every department will be your IAS, IPS, and other central services. The next level will be the recruited by Staff Selection Commission. This is how the recruitment happens. In state services, the top services in Group 1 service, where you have RDO, you must have heard of RDO, CTO, the second DSP, all these people will come under Group 1, followed by Group 2 services where you have their assistants. So, you will have MRO, you will have ACTO. These will come under the Group 2. Then you will have the Group 3, which is the non-gazetted post, and Group 4 will be the lowest level in government services. This is how government services happen. Then the next is what qualification. I talked about the qualification. For some exams, it is intermediate, meaning group 4 clerical grade, you intermediate is more than enough. But if it is above clerical grade, then you need to be a graduate. This graduation, what kind of graduation should you have? Should you be a BTech? Should you be a postgraduate? Should you be a engineering student, or a degree, a normal degree student? We need to understand that. There we talk about general services and specialist services. This is the classification. General services are those which wherein you just need to be a graduate. You can be a graduate in anything. You can be a graduate BTech, you can be a BA graduate, BCom graduate, you can be a postgraduate, you can be a PhD, but basic level of education is graduate. General services are those services where you are posted in different departments. You are expected to do different works. So you need general awareness. It is more about being aware of your surroundings, about different aspects of your country and society. Specialist services require specialization in a particular subject. Those people should have a degree in that subject. For example, civil engineering. mechanical engineering. So, that is specialization. Only if I have specialization in that. If I want to be a drug inspector, I need to have a degree in pharmacy. So, only if I have that specialization, I can appear for this exam. I'll be allowed to write this exam. Here, the focus is on subjective part. You're going to apply your knowledge, subjective knowledge in these services. That is the specialist service. So, this is the difference between general services and specialist service, which I have explained earlier. Then I told you about why economic empowerment is important. Krishna sir has said that economic empowerment is very important. Economic empowerment leads to social empowerment. I gave you an example of a housewife and a working woman. Always remember, a working woman will have greater say in family matters and decision making because she's contributing to the earnings of the family when compared to a housewife. Working is very important. You need to work because it will give you dignity. You will have self esteem. You'll respect yourself. When you respect yourself, others also will respect you because you're contributing meaningfully to your family and to your society. So, working will, when you work, you earn respect. It's not that a housewife does not, but a working woman will have greater say in matters when compared to a housewife. Not her mistake, but that's how our society works. Okay. Then I was talking about general studies. I was telling you that in general studies, these four are considered as the core subjects, followed by other subjects like international affairs, society, science and technology, ethics, environment, and two subjects that we have in addition. One is mental ability, and the other is general English, where you could have grammar or comprehension. Any general service exam will have these components. And the most important, along with all this, is I'm sure you must have heard of this term, current affairs. Current affairs is not a subject. Current affairs is basically what we call as awareness or update, the latest update in all these subjects. Whenever you have a development in any of these subjects, we call it as current affairs. For example, the Ukraine Russia war is current affairs and international affairs. Okay, today the budget of Telangana state has come, so it is current affairs and economy. The Ramappa temple was given UNESCO World Heritage site status. That is current affairs and history. All right, a new scheme has been launched by the government that becomes current affairs in economy. So this is how we understand current affairs. Current affairs is the latest developments that happen across world in different spheres. Okay, so this I was explaining. This is about general studies. And then the next thing that we have to be aware is, what do we need to study for competitive exams? I have already told you about a few of my students. I'll just take you through their photos because you could not see them. I have given their background. All these students have been very average students. None of them were gold medalists, none of them were university toppers, none of them did a great had a great flourishing academic record, but they could actually do crack the exam because they were committed to it. They wanted to achieve this. So that is the reason why they could crack. In fact, some of them, Ankita Jain, about whom I spoke earlier, Ankita Jain Surana is her name. She's into IPS, and she'll be very soon allotted, hopefully, the Telangana cadre. She will be one of the officers in Telangana. Then I spoke about Alankrita, the very young girl, 21 years, just finished her BTech. First attempt, she cracked civil services. She's an IT commissioner, income tax commissioner right now. She's posted in Bombay. Then Nihara is just posted in Hyderabad, recently transferred to Hyderabad. She's the program director in All India Radio. Deputy commercial tax officer Vidya, I told that she had three kids. Vidya has three daughters. After having her three daughters, she started preparing for the exam and she cracked it. And then we have food safety inspector. Preeti is a food safety inspector working with GHMC. So all these people, none of them were university toppers. None of them were, exceptionally good students. They were all normal students like you, me. They have cracked the exam only by knowing what the exam is all about, and it was only about how you prepare for the exam. Awareness is what is important. So this is about the successes that I spoke of. Now I'll tell you what you should do in order to crack these exams. See, the first thing is, let me tell you how life is once you get into civil services. Did you ever see, when the result of civil services, that is IAS, IPS, comes, there will be a lot of coverage of media. There will be a lot of attention that is given to you. In fact, if you have any IAS, IPS officers in your own family, they people talk very great about them. You know why they talk like this? Because one simple reason: 4 lakh people write the exam, and it is only 1,000 people who are selected. So the exam, getting through the exam is an achievement in itself, and your life turns around in one day when you get your result. Suddenly you become a VIP. Suddenly you become somebody who's achieved something great in life. You know why? Because tomorrow you're going to get into public service. You're going to do things that are going to matter to lakhs of people, to thousands of people. They will be affected by one of your decisions, one decision of yours. You become a very important person for the public in general and for the country. If you really are interested in doing something for the society, if you want to do good to the society, if you want to contribute to the society, there is no other arena than public services. Because even if you do your job properly as a public servant, you don't have to do anything extra. You just do your work properly as a public servant, it will change the lives of thousands of people. You work properly as an MRO, do everything properly, implement all the schemes that have to be implemented properly, you'll change the lives of many people. So that is the reason why there is so much of adulation, there is so much of respect towards these services. Because you get a golden opportunity to serve people directly, you get a golden opportunity to change people's lives. See, there are many people who earn a lot of money, and with money you can do a lot of social service. But the problem is, you will pump money. You will not be able to directly change, bring about a long term change. There is a limit to the service that you do through pumping money, but there is no limit to the service that you do by getting into public services. There are a few names. I'm sure some of you must have studied, or at least heard of the AP Social Welfare, the Telangana State Social Welfare Residential Hostels. Malavat Purna, the mountaineer, is from there. See, these social welfare hostels and schools were actually a vision that was put into implementation by a very great Indian administrative service officer called S.R. Sankaran. S.R. Sankaran sir is behind this amazing idea of residential welfare, social welfare residential schools and hostels, which have produced a number of successes in all spheres. I'm not just talking about public service, in all spheres. Okay, if it was not for his idea and not for his vision, these welfare hostels would not have been there today. So there are many bureaucrats who have contributed significantly. Their contribution is everlasting in this sphere. That is the reason why people want to get into public service. People want to do something for the society, and it will also elevate your position in your family, in your society. You'll become somebody who's sorted after. You will become somebody who has power in hand to change things. That is the reason why public service is very important. Okay, am I clear with all this? Right. Now, this was a basic introduction. Now, when to prepare, what to do, let me just tell you briefly about that. See, basically, you have to remember that for preparing for any of these competitive exams, more important is that you be aware of things around you. So, the first step towards preparing for these competitive exams is, please start reading the newspaper. Start understanding what is happening around you. What are the latest development? How people are moving forward. So, it is very, very important for you to understand these things. Okay, a general awareness is important. You can start seriously and directly preparing for these competitive exams in your final year of college, but otherwise you can start preparing from before that also. How? I'll tell you. For example, if you can start preparing from your second year, perhaps by reading by preparing on English, by preparing on mental ability, logical reasoning, data interpretation, because at this age, in your second year of graduation or engineering, it is easy to catch up on these. The third year, you can perhaps focus on subjects like history and geography, because these history, I'm sure many of you must have read with a lot of interest in your school also, because history is like a story. His story, in fact, history is his story, the story of people, the story of society, the story of nations. So history is like a story. You just try to know what has happened in the past. The record of events is what you study in history. And geography is also very interesting because it is about land forms, it is about water bodies, it is about the political aspects and the physical aspects of countries. I'm sure you must have done map pointing in your school, the physical map pointing, physical maps and the political maps. So that is geography and history. The fourth year, we come to a little more, not complex, but analytical subjects like polity and economy, where polity is all about government and what it does for the people of this country. It is about managing the country affairs of this country. It is about how government is formed. It is about what government does, what authorities are there in government, what are their powers, functions, and limitations, and all that. And economy is basically about our finances, how our country runs, the money of the country, what brings in money, what takes away money. So the income and expenditure, we discuss all this in economy. So this is how we understand. We can read in those 4 years, second, third, fourth. And fourth year, you'll be prepared for more critical issues like social problems that India faces, international relations, and all that. You will be able to study from the fourth year. Ideally, after your fourth year, 1 year you should take for your full-time preparation and then attempt. And trust me, cracking the exam in the first year is not difficult. As long as you are focused, as long as you have the right guidance, as long as you know what exactly is needed for the exam, you will be able to crack it. So this is the basic idea about public services, about what you should be reading. I am open for any questions that you would like to ask. You can ask me in the chat box because we have sizable number in the discussion. I might not take it uh, through your um, um, speech. So please post the questions in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And Jyotish Garu, people are waiting in the waiting room. I'm not able to add them. Please invite them into the discussion. So students, I'm open. Any question that you would like to ask me on any of the exams, anything that you would like to ask me about career, about public services, please feel free to type it in the chat box. I'll be answering.
Students, please respond.
Any
If you have any
questions?
queries, you can message in chat box.
And don't worry, you can directly message me. You'll find me as Deepika Reddy. If you don't want anybody else to read your question, don't worry, we'll keep it secret. Directly message me and I'm not going to take your name. So just message your questions. I'll be more than glad to answer them. Yeah. చెప్పండి.
Conclude the session. Ma'am, I'm audible, ma'am.
Yeah, you are audible. Please go on.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So we'll conclude the session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am,
sure.
for the wonderful speech. I would like to conclude today's webinar and we'll thank you, ma'am. We'll like to note of the presentation what you gave, some little points we have noted down. Let me read it that, ma'am, once again.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful speech. Deepika ma'am has given so many information for our students, how to write service examination after intermediate, what are the qualifications that they have need, and for getting higher officers post for general studies specialist, how to attend examination, state government examination, central government, public service commission, UPSC, group 1, group 2, what are the job categories are there under state government, central government. And madam spoke about women empowerment, economic empowerment, social empowerment, and spoke about housewife, how it is very difficult work. Very interesting speech, ma'am, and it was very useful to our students. Once again, I thank you. I would like to conclude today's webinar, and thank you everyone present today. Have a nice day. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.